letters, I didn't think to bring them. So we'll have to just, you'll just have to say what you picked for your group, okay? So which one of the following are differential diagnosis for de Quervain's tendonitis? What did you guys pick? Yeah, for group. You guys picked number one? G. E. Oh wait, their group, we're over here. G and E. So we got 2 E's and 2 G's. All right. So some of you think it's just E would be thumb CMC osteoarthritis and scaphoid fracture. Why do you think it wouldn't be intersection syndrome?
We did.
Because those are similar, so they're going
Differential
to
diagnosis.
Yeah.
G. So it's really all of them. Intersection syndrome, it's the only difference is that it's more proximal.
Oh.
So there is a differential diagnosis with intersection syndrome and de Quervain's. Also scaphoid fracture, also CMC osteoarthritis, because that's in that same general area as the first compartment, right? Okay, number 2, appropriate treatment for de Quervain's tendonitis. What did you guys get?
Long tongue.
B. It's B. You're all correct. Include the wrist and the thumb. Which muscles are involved with intersection syndrome? B.
We were tied between B and D.
Okay. B. It's B. It's our thumb, our wrist extensors, that ECRB, ECRL, and the first dorsal compartment, which is our thumb extensor and abductor. Number 4, how is intersection syndrome different from de Quervain's tendonitis? B. You're all correct. 4 centimeters proximal to the wrist, or Lister's tubercle, or the compartment, whichever you want to call it. Where will you palpate trigger finger? C is correct. Volar MP. Number 6, you have a patient with hand pain, local family doc. And I put that in there because, you know, it's a lot easier to treat patients from hand surgeons that you know and trust. Because you know they were evaluated appropriately, they were correctly diagnosed, and they typically give you instruction of exactly what they want you to do, right? But if they come from a hand surgeon or a general orthopedic, they may not have the correct diagnosis, maybe they weren't tested with all the assessments that they go through before, because they're sent to you by a family doc that they just want to try therapy first, and if that doesn't get better, then they'll send them on for additional testing. So we have to be more of an investigator when they come from those docs, okay? So we get the hand pain. The patient says they have trouble straightening their ring finger, and they complain of popping in the morning and when they use their hand. What would you do?
He said B.
B?
Yeah.
B. It's too easy. Yeah, that's right. So we're thinking trigger finger. We're going to palpate the volar MP, have them actively move, and we're going to we're feeling for clicking or popping. We have a 19.
For homework then, get them C.
Yeah, because that's what we talked about.
We talked about like after they leave.
What do we want them to do? Tendon glide?
Well, we talked about like the blocking, like the gentle.
Differential
Yeah.
glide.
Differential, yeah.
Differential glide.
Okay.
Tendon gliding would be contraindicated because it's going to just keep moving that through the pulley.
Irritating.
Yeah, differential gliding is different. We're only moving the FDS. Okay. Now we have a 19-year-old college student, part of a rowing team. Dorsal, radial, forearm pain 2 days after competing in the regatta. Swelling and tenderness, noted 6 centimeters proximal to Lister's tubercle. You could be palpating for some crepitus. And what is your hypothesis?
C.
Intersection syndrome. Do you see how much you guys have learned?
No.
Right? That's all right. Group learning is good. Okay, now we have a 67-year-old female arrives to the clinic for initial evaluation, saw her family doc, dorsal wrist pain. She recently returned from a 3-week visit with her daughter to Colorado, where she traveled to assist with her new granddaughter. Ding, 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 right? I'm already thinking, right? She tried using a wrist cock-up orthosis, but does not feel like it was helpful. What would you do?
C.
C, everyone's got C. We need to do a Finkelstein's test to confirm what we're hypothesizing. And then that would not be the appropriate split, right? We want to include the thumb, get a long opponent split. Number 9, patient arrives, diagnosed with lateral tendonitis. First visit, they came in with a tennis elbow strap or a counterforce brace. You provided iontophoresis at the lowest dose, which would be what?
40.
40. And he returns to the clinic 2 days later. He says his pain's a little bit better, but he's waking at night with elbow pain. What do you think we should do? D? D? Yep, you're right. We need to put him in a splint for night because muscles that are irritated don't like to lengthen, and we go like this, and we don't like to contract, and we go like this. Another thing that I didn't really talk about with all those modalities is modalities aren't a thing that I would keep doing forever and ever and ever and ever. So if I saw someone with an itis and I did 2 or 3 and they didn't have any change, I'm not doing them anymore, right? And if they did have a change, I'm not going to do 36, right? These are also the reasons why these modalities get a bad rap, because some people do that. So if I'm not noting a change in a couple times, and what am I talking about a change? What would I want to know?
Increased range or
Lower
flexibility.
pain.
Increased range of motion, their pain is down, their grip or pinch strength went up, right? Because when the pain goes down, their grip and pinch strength is going to go up. We're not working on strengthening, it's going to go up because their pain went down, right? So I'm going to retest, recheck things. So it's another thing in hand therapy, we are constantly remeasuring. Because how do I know if what I'm doing is working if I don't recheck? And you only, maybe with Blue Care Network, you got 6 visits, right? You got to do what's working while you have the chance. Otherwise, if you wait till the 6 visits and you never checked it, maybe you were doing the wrong thing, right? Okay. Number 10, lateral tendonitis. You get 1 visit only. What would you do?
B.
B. B. B. B. Activity modification. Use your flexor supinator group and your flexor pronator group instead of your extensor supinator group. So you do it in a supinated position to use your flexors. Yep. Okay. Time for lunch. And are you guys okay with everyone getting food?